Hey guys, for today's video, I will be redesigning the main friend group in Miraculous. Marinette, Alya, Nino, and Adrien. But I will not just be redesigning them, I will also change things about their personalities too, in what I would say is my preferred version of Miraculous. I've made a lot of videos complaining over what I dislike about the show, how I'd make them better. So I thought, hey, it's time to stop being a Karen and actually tell you guys how I would make it better. And then you can rip me apart in the comments if you think it's shit. Sound good? Also, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Miraculous content. First, I need you guys to have some context. In my version of Miraculous, the main cast will be aged up from 14 to 16. This way we can explore the darker and more mature themes from this show, without the family-friendly setback. I also think this works better as a show for teenagers, rather than kids, because of its heavily romantic plot. And yes, kids' shows can have romance too, but this show is way more romantic than usual from my experience watching the Disney Channel up until the age of 16. Anyways, I would also make the class differences matter more. I know we see Chloe bully Marinette over being a baker's daughter, but I don't think many of us pity Marinette for her social standing, considering they've made a point to show how successful their bakery actually is many times. And she also has two very loving, amazing parents. And we can't exactly say the same for Clo over here. So in Francois Dupont High, the elites are idolized in school. Even Chloe, who is a brat, is popular and put on a pedestal. Marinette, however, is bullied for having a lower social standing compared to the rest, because Mary only got in via scholarship because of her impressive fashion skills and grades. But most of the other kids going there would be on the wealthier side. Adrien being at the top of the social hierarchy due to his father's globally successful fashion brand. The brand would be on the same level as like Chanel or Louis Vuitton in my version. Maybe it is supposed to be that big in the show, but they barely delve into this, so I don't even know. Anyways, of course Chloe is also high up because her father is the freaking mayor. Yeah. Okay, so this is sort of a vague description of the school setting for these kids. So without further ado, let's get into it. Marinette. The girl, the myth, the legend. Marinette Dupin creep. I mean, Chang. Who is Marinette? Well, Marinette Dupin Chang is the main protagonist of Miraculous. She's a kind, creative, and sometimes clumsy Parisian teenager who dreams of becoming a fashion designer. When danger strikes, she transforms into the confident and resourceful superhero Ladybug, tasked with protecting Paris from supervillains alongside her partner Cat Noir, according to ChatGPT. For Marinette, I'd make her less stalkerish to start off, so basically less outright creepy with her infatuation for Adrien, but rather have her keep it more to herself. She would be very careful in order to not stand out, since she already does by being a baker's daughter. Also, I would make their bakery less successful and have it struggle more financially, putting a lot of stress on her mother and father. In my version, Marinette's dream is basically to become a famous fashion designer because she loves fashion, but also in order to support her family who's always lived in poverty. She wants to make her family name great, bring her parents to fashion shows, and give them the life they've always dreamed of, the life they deserve for being such good people. Anyways, she is a huge fan of Gabriel Agreste, which is obviously another reason she became so infatuated with Adrien. Gabriel is her idol, and Adrien's life is one she's always dreamed of since she was a little girl. She loves the spotlight and the idea of fame in my version. This would be interesting since Adrien comes from that world, but desires a more humble life, and doesn't really care for the fame his father forced on him. So this is my Marinette. A shy, nervous girl who's felt inferior most of her life, but is working hard to help her family and get the life she's always dreamed of. Her biggest struggle comes from bullying and struggling to stand up for herself because of her inferiority complex. Her clumsiness will also stay the same in my version, and she gets teased often because of it. But her clumsiness isn't just some curse put on her. In my version, it's a big side effect from her anxiety. She's a very anxious and nervous girl and often overthinks, which makes her forget to stay focused. That's why she's so darn clumsy. Marinette loves to dress up in her latest designs, contrary to her personality. So her style is pretty flashy, and she just can't help trying on new clothes. This she gets teased for a lot as well. Anyways, let's get to the design. For her basic everyday outfit, I went with a top that's pretty similar to one of the first scrapped character designs of her. Here she wears a simple white collared shirt and a black jacket on top. I went with one that's buttoned up, but overall very similar. I really like this, and it still feels like Marinette. Although I am redesigning them, I still wanted to sort of have the same look as the original characters, so I'm keeping the color palettes fairly similar. I am, however, switching up her pink shorts with polka dots on the edges to a white and pink polka dotted skirt instead. I mean, Marinette is clearly a girly girl with all the pink she surrounds herself with in her bedroom, and her constant daydreaming of Adrien is also very girly behavior, if you ask me. So I want her outfit to reflect it. For shoes, I'm going with knee-high socks and loafers. This is very anime coded and cute, but I think Marinette is someone who would totally be into this style, so it fits. She would definitely be the type to watch Cardcaptor Sakura and Sailor Moon like every day. I can see it. For her hair, I'm going with the same pigtails, but slightly changing the shape. I really like this earlier character design of Marinette from a comic, where her hair is a bit more spiky. It fits the more clumsy, chaotic side of her. I'm also adding these long pink ribbons because she is super into fashion, and I really want to show it more through the accessories. That's why I'm also adding a choker and a necklace, plus making her earrings bigger and pink. I just don't think the black studs are flashy enough. With her face, I wanted her to look more mixed, since she is half French and half Chinese, not Japanese. Her eyes are therefore darker and sharper. I was actually very surprised to find out Marinette was half Chinese when I first watched the show, because she just doesn't look very Asian. Mainly because of her big round eye shape and the very striking blue color. Although the bluebell eyes are very iconic, I don't think it makes sense. I gave her a more awkward smile and kept her nose fairly the same. Oh, also her hair is darker too, to make it look a bit more realistic. So this is my Marinette. I actually really like this design, and I think it fits the image of the nervous, fashion-savvy girl a bit more. On to Alya. Who are you, Alya? Alya Sister is Marinette Dupenchang's best friend in Miraculous. She's energetic, curious, and fiercely loyal, running the Lady blog to track Ladybug's heroic exploits. Later in the series, she also becomes the superhero Reno Rouge, using her cunning and creativity to help fight villains. Again, according to ChatGPT. Now, Alya is a character that I didn't really know what to do with because she doesn't stand out to me in the show, even though she is one of the, biggest characters. And I felt like that needed to change. So in my version, I wanted to make her even more stereotypically curious and detective-like. Like Nancy Drew. That's her name, right? The female detective. Alya became Mary's best friend mainly because she found the chaotic girl interesting. She wanted to see what kind of disaster this girl would cause and, of course, be at the scene to report it. Kinda like a detective wanting to be there at the scene of the crime. Regardless of her parents' wealthy status, having a famous chef mother and a dad who owns a zoo, yes, I am keeping that. Alya isn't the type to care about what brand your handbag is. She likes psychology and mysteries more than anything. This is why having her be best friends with the soon-to-be biggest secret heroine of Paris is perfect. Although she lives for a good story, she's also goofy and a good friend to Marinette. She's very no bullshit, and whenever she sees Chloe try and mock Marinette for her handmade mittens, Alya is there to tell her, "You seriously got nothing better to do than harass a girl for being into sewing? Why don't you go and find a hobby other than begging your dad for money?" Yes, she is a savage and helps Marinette in times she can't stand up for herself. My Alya isn't a girl who just sits there and watches as Marinette gets herself into disasters. She tries to stop her at every turn, because guess what? She cares about her clumsy friend, and as fun as a little disaster is to her, she's seen enough crime documentaries to be extremely paranoid. Unfortunately, Mary has an edge by having literal magical powers, so keeping her friend in check is kinda hard. Anyway, on to the design. I didn't want it to look like she gave any particular thought to her outfit. She doesn't really care. She's always thinking and coming up with theories, so she doesn't have time to think about what shoes go with what shirt. She's got flip-flops and socks, cause it's comfy. A t-shirt with a camera on it, cause she likes taking pictures and documenting. I like to imagine her mom forced her to go on a shopping trip, and Alya just picked the first thing that looked remotely interesting, just to get out of there ASAP. and now it's what she wears every single day. For her hair, the only change I'm making is the bangs. And this is purely because I think it looks cute. For the face, I'm giving her a lot of the same features except for her expression. I don't want her smiling confidently like she's trying to look cool. Instead, her usual expression is this sort of spaced out thinking face. That's my Alya for you. I think her and Marinette's dynamic would be quite interesting. On to Nino. Who are you, Nino?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Nino Leaf is Adrien Agreste's best friend in Miraculous. He's laid back, friendly, and outgoing, often serving as a fun, supportive presence in the group. Nino loves music and dreams of being a DJ, which matches his creative and easygoing nature. Though he sometimes struggles with confidence, he's loyal and caring, always ready to cheer up his friends. When chosen by the Kwami Ways, he becomes Carapace, a turtle-themed superhero with the power of protection, showing his dependable and courageous side in battle. Yet again, according to ChatGPT. Nino is a guy that I feel like could be changed into literally anyone, and it would be an automatic improvement. Because Nino is basically just the clown in the background to me. I only took him seriously in one episode, and I don't even remember what the name of it was. Although side characters need their own separate storylines, it's important that they serve a purpose for the main characters. Nino is a very laid-back, kind of goofy guy in the show, and that is probably deliberate, since Adrien is supposed to be the opposite of that. However, they made Nino and Adrien not different enough, if you ask me. Nino in my version would be your stereotypically cringe high school Rizzler, the kind of guy who thinks he's a big shot, while everyone laughs at him behind his back. He is the type to carry roses in his backpack in case an opportunity arises. He would also totally do those finger guns at people and use the cringiest hip lingo. Swagger, yo, that's tight, man. What's cooking, good looking? Yeah, that kind of stuff. It would be very funny to have him teach Adrien how to talk to girls, since Adrien wouldn't know that his advice is trash and just blindly follow Nino's ludicrous instructions. And it makes more sense to me than having Adrien teach Nino how to pick up girls, which he did do in Animan. I don't get it. Adrien is not supposed to be this smooth. In conclusion though, my Nino would be a cringy ladies' man that is eager to help his buddy Adrien come out of his shell in bizarre ways. For character design, this one took an unexpected turn, to say the least. God, I didn't even want to show this, but the video needed to be released soon, so I just kind of went with it, okay? I went with this cool guy pose, or trying to be cool guy pose. Thought it fit nicely. For the clothes, I switched up his t-shirt with a tank top because I've seen this archetype wearing white tank tops in media a lot. For pants, we need those baggy rapper pants. It's canon that Nino dreams of becoming a DJ, so I bet he listens to hip-hop too. And to top it off, I'm giving him a chain and some cool red sneakers. Very similar to his original show design. I'd say the ones in the show look better, but I need to level up my art before I tackle those. Now the dreaded part, the face. I can explain. It looks cursed, yes, but I wanted him to have this kind of smirky, yes, damn right, I'm the coolest guy in school type of expression. But for some reason, he turned into Pepe the Frog. I did fix it a little to make it less of an eyesore, and this is the result. This is my Nino. Grill me in the comments all you want. It is deserved. Adrien! Who are you, Adrien?
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Adrien Agreste is a polite and kind teen model.
Nice.
Raised under the strict control of his father, Gabriel. Though admired for his looks and charm, he feels lonely and craves freedom. Chosen by the Kwami Plague, Adrien transforms into Cat Noir, a confident, witty superhero with the power of destruction. Unlike his reserved, everyday self, Cat Noir is playful and bold, teaming up with Ladybug to protect Paris while secretly struggling with his double life and hidden feelings. According, yet again for the fourth time, to ChatGPT, my version of Adrien would fit the rich model image way better. And let's not forget the aspect of him being sheltered for most of his childhood. That would be more apparent, for sure. He is the son of a fashion designer, so I want him to have better taste, or should I say his father to have better taste. Adrien usually wears a very plain getup for being the face of a fashion brand. Actually, let's not forget he wears the same thing every day as well. Since his father cares a great deal about appearances, Adrien would of course be expected to look his best at all times, because he is the muse of the Gabriel fashion brand. Now for his character. It's really hard to know where I would even begin, because, I mean, the show doesn't have much for me to go off of. I think the most important thing to change is his personality and making it fit his backstory better. I would like for him to be in denial more in regards to his mother's passing. Whenever anyone ever mentions her death, he would answer with, "What do you mean she's gone?" Also, due to the fact that his father recently, after his mom's passing, amped up his controlling demeanor, he would be the type to clearly repress a lot of his more negative emotions. He feels a constant pressure to be perfect. And I'd like to show this in the show by having him rehearse how to speak to his friends at school. Like in front of the bathroom mirror in the mornings, or maybe have a list of like conversation starters. My Adrien feels like he can just never let loose. He is uptight, he's scared, and he tries to smile through it and be polite, and because he looks so darn good, people smile back. But anyways, he does not like his life the way it is. That is up until he becomes Cat Noir. Being Cat Noir feels like the only time he can be himself, and Ladybug is the main person he can actually be real with, which makes her incredibly special and important to him. I know this is vaguely shown in the show, but it seems so indecisive. They never really go for it with any of their plots. Like when Plagg told Adrien that he is both Cat Noir and Adrien. I mean, yes, he is, but it felt like they just said that as a cop-out, so they don't have to dive deeper into Adrien's convoluted identity conflict. It's like Plagg just resolved that plot with that one line. And after that, they can just simply continue writing each episode like they got dementia and forgot what the show was actually about. Anyway, that is the main thing I would change. When it comes to my version of how Adrien and Marinette's relationship would progress, I think I should make a separate video where I talk about the Adrianette ship more in depth and tell you guys what I would change, cause oh boy, that is a video in itself. Anyway, on to the character design. I will put him in more classic, sophisticated pieces, so it's clear that his clothes were not picked by himself but an older gentleman. I'm going with more muted tones instead of the bright colors, just to hone in the mystique around the agrests further. For his hair, I know we all love the infamous Adrien swoop, but I really wanted to make Adrien look drastically different from Cat Noir. That is why I went with a more sophisticated, gelled back, preppy, old money kind of hairstyle. Again, hinting at the fact that this is a kid who's been isolated from other people his own age. No way I'm catching a 16-year-old with this hairstyle in today's day and age. For the face, I already really like his sharp, cat-like eye shape, since it's very fitting considering his Miraculous is the cat. So I kept those and made them even sharper. The biggest change I made to his face is the sharper and narrower jawline. This is to make them look a little bit older, since I am aging them up to be 16. I have to say, I am the most pleased with how Adrien turned out. He looks like a character that I would be very intrigued by. I really liked drawing him. The hair was especially fun because I've never drawn this style before. Anyways, this is my version of Adrien, and I hope you like it. And I also hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know if you want a part 2 where I redesign their hero outfits, because this could definitely be a longer running series. I know I started off using their character model faces in my other 2 videos where I quote-unquote fixed their season 6 designs, but just redoing everything is more fun, I think. And it's also a good excuse to practice drawing. As always, till next time, guys.